and welcome to Pembroke Cricket Club in the leafy suburbs of South Dublin for this Rario Series T20. 6 games coming up in 3 days. Leinster Lightning against Munster Reds is the first match we'll have today. I'm joined by Sean Hussey. Looking forward to a nice festival of cricket here. At least the sun is shining.
Absolutely, Stephen. Morning, everyone. Yeah, that's the one thing we all looked at this morning, what the weather was going to be like. Looks like we may get some rain a little bit later, but shouldn't affect the first game.
And the first game, Leinster Lightning, who won the toss and have decided to put the Munster Reds into bat. And we're going to see exactly what happened at the toss with Craig.
Well, here we are in the middle for the toss. I'm joined by third umpire Willie Clark, captain of the Munster Reds PJ Moore, and captain of the Leinster Lightning with the coin George Stockwell.
I will have a bowl, please.
So, Leinster Lightning have won the toss and will have a bowl. Any particular reason for that, George?
Yeah, I feel like Pembroke's always a place where chasing seems to benefit. There's a bit of grass on the wicket and obviously first game of the week, so look, hopefully we can make a bit of use with the ball and chase down whatever total they get.
Now, this is your first game since the 8th of June, I think, in the T20 festival, with Breedy having been rained out. Many changes to the squad?
Yeah, quite a fair few, and I probably wouldn't be able to list them all for person by person. But look, we're excited by the group we have. There's a nice mix of kind of young guys coming through and a few more experienced heads. So it's always a great festival here and an exciting few days ahead for us.
Grand. Well, very best of luck and thanks very much, George.
Thanks.
PJ, you lost the toss. What would you have done if you'd won?
Yeah, we also would have had a ball first. I think, like what George said, it's been a bit rainy the last few days. The wicket's been under covers, so it would have been nice to have had a ball first. But, you know, we're out there. We've got to go put a score on the board now, and I've got all the faith in the guys that we can put on a decent total.
Grand. Well, the very best of luck to you and your team. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks. So we'll go back to the commentary team now, and thank you very much.
Well, a very greenish track here, Sean, and probably no surprise that Leinster have chosen to field in the first match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think PJ Moore saying he would have had a bowl as well. First game of the festival, and you see the sun coming out now, which will harden up that pitch. And that, as it's been said, a lot of rain in the Dublin area over the last 3-4 weeks, so there'll be a bit of moisture in that pitch. Might be a good time to bowl early on, especially it looks like it's going to be Mikey O'Reilly to open up.
Well, the table looks interesting. Northern Knights with their 3 wins way back in the Mardyke Festival, when we had the old bee stinging ceremony. The bees stopped play. There was no rain around those 3 days. Of course, we completely lost the Breedy Festival to the elements. And after effectively 6 matches, Northern Knights have 20 points. Northwest Warriors are on 16. Munster Reds on 11. Any of those can win the title, which will be decided this week. Alas for Leinster Lightning, they're playing for pride, they're playing for position. They have only 6 points after 6 games, having lost all 3 down in the Mardyke.
Yeah, and I think they want to put a foot down here on home ground. They won't want to go the whole year without winning. So a big game for them, particularly against the Munster Reds, and get off to a good start at this festival.
As you said, Mikey O'Reilly opening the bowling, and opening the batting is the skipper, PJ Moore, who is joined in the middle by Tyrone Kane. In fact, it's Murray Cummins who's batting at number 2. We were given the order about 20 minutes ago, but number 25 for the Reds is Murray Cummins. He's the non-striker, and that's well down the leg side.
Well, it's going to be a difficult one for Mikey O'Reilly with the breeze that seems to be swirling across the ground, but in particular looks like he's going to be bowling into it for the main.
Yeah, the breeze will be a factor. It's a strong wind coming towards us.
Well, if he can find any bit of movement, that breeze might even help him at times to bring the ball back into the right-hander.
Better ball, played nicely, straight down the ground for the first run.
Well, it's interesting, we see the field positioning, and we've got a deep square leg and a long on. So it's almost saying to Mikey O'Reilly, to PJ Moore, who is so leg side dominant, he stands up middle and off, that you can bowl a straight line and not trying to push it across and trying to bring the ball back into PJ Moore. So good captaincy from George Dockrell saying to Mikey O'Reilly, you can't afford to bowl straight and try and get some movement back in.
So it's Murray Cummins on strike. Scored 73 runs in the festival in the Mardyke at an average of 36.5. One of the more successful batters for Munster Reds at that festival. And diving in the covers was Riley Mudford. They will get the run. Murray Cummins off the mark in this first over.
Yeah, Cummins a real classical player through the offside. So there's a deep cover in place there.
Yeah, power play of course, 6 overs, 2 men out. That's straight to the cover fielder, Riley Mudford, and there's no run.
Well, we'll be just interested to see how that ball comes onto the bat. Just looks like it's a little bit sticky at the moment. We mentioned the rain and the moisture that could be in the pitch. So as that sun, if it does stay out today, I'll see the ball coming onto the pitch a little bit quicker.
Both of the outfielders on the leg side, one at deep mid-on, the other just in front of square. And that's off the protectors and out to square leg for a leg by. Gentle start, not surprising. Early days, 11 o'clock in the morning. Coolish breeze. Outfield looks lovely. Pembroke Cricket Club always in great shape. A year ago this festival was played in beautiful sunshine on a rock hard pitch. It'll be very different this week. We won't be seeing scores around the 260 that we saw from Leinster Lightning in that festival.
Yeah, and I think these two, Cummins and Moore, will no doubt understand that, and I think they're going to have to just see what the wicket's doing early on and send information back to the team and what they think is a par score. Two of their more experienced batters both have played at the highest level.
Here comes O'Reilly, steaming in, nicely played. It's Tim Tector out on the cover boundary. Single for Cummins. The end of the first, maybe one more ball is there in the over? No, that's the end of the over. And at the end of the first over, 5 for no wicket. Good safe start from Munster Reds, just getting the feel of this pitch, the pace of the track. And it looks like, yeah, Fionn Hand is going to open the bowling from the pavilion end.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit more pace here from Hand. And whatever wind there is, it seems to be coming from the left corner of Pembroke down to the right corner at the bottom of your screen. So, chance for Fionn Hand. He is that little bit quicker than Mikey O'Reilly.
Clouds scudding across the sky. It's a mixed day. There is a possibility of rain later on. The forecast, which of course we can't be 100% reliant upon, is suggesting that there could be some rain maybe around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. We might get lucky today. Half volley, nicely played through the covers, and that's away for the first boundary of the innings. Good shot from Murray Cummins.
Yeah, nice start for Murray Cummins against Fionn Hand. It's a bit of a gentle delivery in truth, and to a player of Murray Cummins' class, that's just meat and drink. Beautifully played, didn't look to overhit, and found the gap and erases away.
Munster Reds with the left-right partnership to open the innings, which always makes it just a little bit more difficult for the fielding side. Better delivery that time from Fionn Hand.
Yeah, I think you want to tuck up Murray Cummins early on in his innings. Any sort of width, as most left-handers do. Loves it outside that off stump, so I want to try and tuck him up a little bit. Slip has gone out.
Sliced away and past the diving Simi Singh, and that's another boundary. Not the best of shots, but he got away with it.
Yeah, I think we might see a change in the field because third man is in the ring, and if Fionn Hand is going to bowl it outside, Murray Cummins is off stump. And I think we're going to see a change in the field. Murray Cummins is so happy to play through that offside. You have to be so straight to him, or you can't afford to bowl that length.
And again, it's into that backward point area, and there's going to be an overthrow here. Initially it beat Seamus Lynch, and the throw from Simi Singh a bit wide of the mark, so a couple more to Cummins.
Yeah, I think you'll just see the moisture in that outfield as well. Sam Harbison coming in slipping on one of the wickets to the right of the pitch. I think that could be a team of the day.
And that's just played away gently to square leg, and Harbinson with the fielding. Another run to Cummins. Healthy 13 off 8 deliveries for him. Expensive over from Fionn Hand. Hasn't quite found his line and length yet.
I think that length is probably a better delivery to Cummins than over pitching. If you've over pitched to a player like Murray Cummins, we've seen already how good he is through that offside. So when you try and get a full, when you try and get the ball swinging, it has to be a straighter line to Murray Cummins. When you compare that to PJ Moore, who bats right across the stumps and is so strong through the leg side. So different plans.
Slip in for Moore. That one a little bit wide. It's signalled to wide by umpire Paul Reynolds.
But you can see there they're happy to throw that ball outside the off stump of PJ Moore. And that's the difficulty with T20 bowling, having a right hand, left hand, different plans.
Nicely played, just wide of mid-off. Quick single taken. Good running between the wickets by these two. Moore moves to 2. Cummins on 13. It's 18 for no wicket after 2 overs.
Yeah, exact example there of what I was talking about. That ball outside the off stump, and PJ Moore doesn't really get his foot to it in the same way that Murray Cummins does. So it'll be interesting to see how Leinster managed this with Murray Cummins. Very differing players, the two, very score in different zones. So the challenge early on for the Leinster Lightning to make sure their line and lengths are in a good place.
Mikey O'Reilly taken out of the attack after 1 over, and it's going to be David Delaney coming in now. Rolling into the wind.
Yeah, well, I think this will be an interesting test of the pitch here, how it's coming on. David Delaney, probably the quickest bowler on show here today, certainly from a Leinster Lightning point of view. And if the ball is coming on nicely, then you might see that this pitch is better than it might have appeared early on.
Good delivery. Harbinson quickly up from mid-on to field, no run.
I think for everyone's point of view in Irish cricket, it is brilliant to see David Delaney back in club cricket and indeed into provincial cricket and bowling at good pace.
And they scurry through for a quick single there. There's good running between the wickets, good communication between these two batters early on.
Just see David Delaney a little bit unhappy with where he's landing there again. That's the moisture that's just in the wicket. But I saw David bowl in a club game on Saturday with Mary and Clontarf, and just that extra pace he can bowl with. It's just a game changer at times. If he's used right, he is so effective. It does seem like Clontarf get the very best out of him. Has had his injury issues, has been away in Australia, but it'll be interesting to see where he is with his game at the moment, where he wants to go with it, because he's certainly an asset if he keeps bowling at this pace and keeps staying injury free. And I think there's no reason why we won't see him back in international honours in the near future, but I think a lot of it relies on him and what he wants to do with his career.
And there was a little change of fielding there from George Dockrell, the skipper, and he brought Mike O'Reilly across from the leg side to the offside, and he was the one who was in the right place to feel that.
Now it's a glorious shot by Murray Cummins, and he just seems to have got his timing in there. That was beautifully played.
And that one found the inside edge and has gone down to backward square. Just the single. Cummins moves to 14. 20 for no wicket in the third over.
Well, just to go back to David Delaney, I think this is where you want to see him now really dominate and almost give the Irish selectors no choice, because I think everyone knows when he's on his best, he certainly will be an asset to Ireland going forward.
A slightly uppish, but past the bowler who couldn't quite get across, and it's away for a boundary. First boundary from PJ Moore moves him to 6, score to 24.
Yeah, glorious shot from PJ Moore. Just stood and delivered. A little bit over pitch from David Delaney, but look at the position he gets himself into.
Slightly uppish.
The feet don't have to move. And no bowler has any chance really in their follow through, particularly one of David Delaney's pace. It's one of the best shots in the book, the on drive.
That wasn't properly hit, but he's got away with it into the gap over the cover fielders. Simi Singh getting it back quickly, just the single. PJ Moore struggling to get to the pitch of that one. Leinster Lightning might just be thinking they've been a little bit unlucky in this over. Couple of uppish shots, but at the end of that it's none for 6 for Delaney, 7 to Moore, 14 to Cummins, and 25 on the board after 3 overs. Good solid start from Munster Reds. Good platform.
You can just see that maybe the ball isn't coming onto the bat as nicely when it is being bowled into the wicket. And it's just something to keep an eye on throughout the day. I think it may be a case that batters coming out here and getting used to the timing and getting used to conditions.
Sam Harbinson coming on to bowl. As always in these T20s, a lot of bowling changes, and that's up in the air, and a chance here for Leinster Lightning, and it's taken comfortably, and the first wicket goes, and it's Peter Moore uppishly to wide mid-on, and the first wicket goes down with the score on 25, and it's Sam Harbinson with his first delivery getting the breakthrough.
Well, he has the often tag of being a bit of a golden arm, Sam Harbinson. I think that just shows you how difficult it is getting the timing on it. PJ Moore threw the shot very early. We saw a beautiful on drive in the last over from the extra pace of Delaney, and just chipped from PJ Moore, and he looks disgusted with himself, walking off in the simplest of catches for a miss to do. and the first breakthrough of the festival for the Leinster Lightning.
Yeah, and they'll feel that was coming because there were a few upper shots played in that previous over. It's the kind of pitch where it's not really coming on to the bat, and so difficult for players to get their timing right after a wonderful start to the season with all that glorious sunshine. We're now into a completely different type of cricket with pitches more like we expect in April and May. Nathan Maguire is the new batter.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what way Nathan Maguire plays this. Such a brilliant attacking batter when he's in full flow. It may just require him to get his eye in here and get used to conditions.
Played that late down to third man, where O'Reilly is the fielder, off the mark with his first sighter. Brings Murray Cummins back on strike. Sam Harbinson winding up here. Medium pace, a little bit short, turned away past Mike O'Reilly. Tim Tector coming around from square leg to field, and it's a couple for Cummins. And he moves to 16. And 28 for 1 the score in the fourth over. No slips for Harbinson here. Third man and square leg, the men out. And that's up in the air. And that will go all the way. First 6 of the innings just helped on its way by Murray Cummins, who looks in really good fettle today. 34 for 1.
Yeah, poor delivery from Harbinson, particularly when the field and fine leg is in the circle. Again, you just see maybe a little bit of lack of pace from Harbinson, not as quick as maybe David Delaney, and that has just helped on its way. Doesn't even have to get all of it, a little bit of a top edge to it. Flies for 6.
So great start for Harbinson, but since then 9 runs off the next 3 deliveries. And that was a bit short and just landed in front of the mid-wicket fielder. Fionn Hand didn't quite carry.
Yeah, a similar length delivery from Harbinson, but this time it's, I suppose, the line, and it's outside the off stump, and Cummins has to try and move it across. The previous one with that 6, he could just help on its way. That one, harder to get more control over it with that sort of lack of pace from the pitch, if you like, or certainly uneven timing. And ran into a little bit of difficulty there, Cummins. It just shows you the line is as important with a bouncer as the length.
So Simi Singh coming up into the circle at short third, and the mid wicket has gone out to the boundary, and that's turned past O'Reilly, who was inside the circle, and it's another loose ball from Harbinson, and just feeding Cummins' strength down the leg side. Very expensive over this, despite the wicket.
Yeah, disappointing end to the over for Sam Harbinson again. It's the length, it's the line rather, and that's just so easy to help round the corner.
So at the end of 4, it's 38 for 1. Cummins on 26 from 14 deliveries. Maguire just a single to his name, and he will have his first opportunity to see the bowling of Delaney, who will continue from the camera end. That one just got up a little Fended off nicely down to third man for a single. That's the best thing that Nathan Maguire can do, is give Murray Cummins as much of the strike, and he seems to be in great nick.
Yeah, well, maybe for a little selfish point of view as well from Nathan Maguire. There's when you have a player like Cummins who has got off to a good start, and someone like Nathan Maguire does often sacrifice himself for the team and almost goes hard from ball one, but he can allow himself just 5, 6, 7 deliveries here.
Backwards square leg and cover, the two men out in this 5th over of the power play. Nice shot, struck firmly but straight to Simi Singh at mid-on.
Again, that's better line from David Delaney, because Murray Cummins has a little bit more difficulty getting that through on the leg side compared to how strong he is down the ground on the offside. So Leinster Lightning will know that.
Short ball pulled away high and handsome onto the covers for a super 6. Lovely hit from Cummins. Smashed that in his second 6 of the innings. 32 to him now off just 16 deliveries.
Again, helped on its way by Murray Cummins. It's too straight for him and it just allows himself to hook it over. Never always in control of that one, but you don't have to really if you can get that elevation.
Expect Delaney to come back here. And that's a much better delivery. Straight. Played very well by Cummins.
Yeah, I don't think Leinster have done enough of that to Murray Cummins. Just bowl a good, heavy length. It's either been a little bit too full where he can flash it off through the offside, and then it's maybe been a touch too short and straight.
On a wicket like this, probably need to pitch the ball up a little bit more. That was just a little bit down the leg side, straight to the fielder at backward square leg, and I think Maguire would have been in all right, but it was close. Cummins on 33, Maguire on 2. Munster Reds, they'll be happy with this start. Needing a win to keep themselves in this competition. They've got a good strong squad for this festival, but not enough Irish players for my liking. Most of the squad coming from clubs in Leinster and the north. Just one player from a Munster club in this Munster Red squad, Byron McDonough, and he's not involved today. End of 5 overs, 46 for 1. Cummins on 33, Maguire on 2. And a change of bowling. I think, yeah, is that Fionn Hand taking over? Yeah, Fionn Hand is going to have his second over from the pavilion end. Cummins on strike. Sidhu and third man on the boundary. Tim Tector at square leg. And this the final over of the power play. Pitched up nicely, straight to the fielder at mid-off, no run. Yeah, Cummins looking really good. He was the best batter for Munster Reds in the previous festival down in the Mardyke. Nicely played, but Dockrell is there in the short cover position.
Yeah, there was a change in the field just before that last delivery as well. Third man coming in to the circle, Simi Singh, and man at 45 pushed out to the boundary. So we may see a couple of short deliveries here from Fionn Han because he's got his field set for that.
That was shorter and is pulled away past Harbinson at mid-wicket for another boundary. Firmly struck by Cummins, who moves to 37 and the score to 50. Munster Reds really starting in the way they wish to continue here. It's good cricket from them.
Yeah, advances down the track, Murray Cummins. That's poor delivery from Fionn Han, and Cummins looks in really good form.
And that's another one pulled away over Harbinson at mid-wicket, and there's no way Tector can get around to save that. Another boundary to the Munster Reds. Cummins moves to 41, the score to 54 for 1.
Yeah, he doesn't get all of it, and it may well be a feature of the day. The ball not coming onto the bat as well as you may think for the start of August, as being the weather in Dublin over the last while. It just gets a bit of impetus into the shot. It was good from Murray Cummins, recognising that with only 2 fielders allowed outside, and this is the final over of the power play, may well be time to cash in.
Slower delivery, just caught him off guard. He wasn't expecting that, Cummins. Clever bowling from hand.
Yeah, good from Fionn Han, really good. And he needs to recognise, can he get out of this over with this final delivery and avoid the boundary? Change in the field. His wicket is going to come in, and
Mikey O'Reilly dropping back to deep fine leg. Final ball of the power play. Firmly to wide mid-on. Just a single for Cummins, who has 5 fours and 2 sixes in his 42 off 24 balls. Maguire has just 2, and after the 6th over is up, the power play over at 55 for 1. Great effort from Munster Reds. They've certainly started as they would have hoped, having been put into bat, and a really good opener for them. So it's time for a change of commentators. John Kenny and Craig joining us, and we leave you for now with Munster 55 for 1.
The change of commentary, we have a change of bowling. And it's going to be George Dockrell, the captain, bringing himself on. Good morning to Craig Senior. Lightning start by the other team, the Reds.
Yeah, well, they've certainly got off to a flyer here. 55 for 1 after just 6 overs. Cummins has really settled down to his task already.
PJ Moore, the man out for 7. Bright start to this game in terms of the weather as well, but clouds have now moved in overhead. Dockrell's first ball has been dispatched. He's not going to cut that off. Rolls down the hill, and 4 more to Cummins as he moves inexorably towards his 50. That was a loose one from Dockrell.
Coming around the wicket to the left-hander, but he left that on the hips of the batsman. Cummins not going to miss out there.
Stifled appeal. Paul Reynolds and Hayden Sievers are umpires today here at Pembroke. Leinster trying to hold on to their title. Reverse sweep and a miss. A lot of these players over the next couple of days are involved in Ireland's qualification for the T20 World Cup in the West Indies and USA. Again, he tries that reverse. This time gets bat on ball, but there is cover down there, so just the single.
Well, yeah, good news for Ireland, qualifying for that T20 finals in USA and West Indies.
Did it well, except for that first match against Italy, which caused all sorts of palpitations. That could have set the tone, because Ireland weren't in the best of it coming into that tournament. but getting over the line against the Italians gave them the impetus anyway. Lost the final to Scotland, matters not. It may affect what group they're in when they come to the finals. That's again a stifled appeal. But yeah, that first Italian game, it really was squeaky bum time.
Yeah, once again, the Irish making a slow start to a tournament, but they got through that test.
Loose start to the over from George Dockrell, but pretty good after that. Just the single from it after the opening. Loose ball went for 4, so Dockrell's first over goes for 5. 60 for 1. We're at the end of 7.
Well, just that one wicket to fall for Leinster so far. They got more. He was caught by Siru. And even there was an opening partnership of 25. Got Munster Reds off to a good start here at Sydney Parade. But now Cummins, well, he's taken the majority at the strike, and you can see why. He's on 47, closing in on that half century.
Again, a change of bowling now at the far end. Simi Singh, Irish international, who's been struggling to get his place back in the Irish team. He's going to come on to bowl. So spin at both ends now. Dockrell bringing himself on a previous over. Simi Singh now on. Going round the wicket to the left-hander. Cuts him away, but there is cover there, and they just run through for the single. Murray Quammons and Nathan Maguire coming together with a score on 25. Moved it on nicely now to 61 for 1. We're in the 8th over. And with the spinners on, we're going to get through these overs pretty quickly. Wind seems to have died a bit. Change of angle as well now for Singh.
Well, now we're out of the power play, of course. Not limited to just the 2 fielders outside the circle. And with the 2 spinners on, well, long off is out there. And the trap is set.
Oh, cries of catches just fall short. The man short third.
Just for a second there, Lynch would have thought that he was in business, but it fell a good few feet in front of him.
I think the softer hands have come and saved him there. As he went hard at that, he's gone. Singh sticking with this round the wicket. Commons down on one leg. Sweeps it into the leg side. It won't go back for the second because Commons has slipped. Don't think he would have tried it anyway, but any chance of getting a brace there nullified by the fact that he slipped at the far end.
Well, I suppose that's a consequence of the weather of July. A fair amount of water falling from the skies during that month, after such a beautiful June as well.
We had a wet July in Ireland, all right. Hopefully August will be a bit better. And the climbs have caught behind. Well, only going up with a bowler and a vociferous appeal from the wicketkeeper. But Maguire survives.
I think Donegan is actually claiming for the stumping here. We'll see it on the replay.
Yeah, it is the stumping, but I think the Aidan Seavers, the umpire, that's a square leg. I'm impressed with that. Pulled away. There's cover down there in Dockrell. Lovely hands. George Dockrell gets the ball away immediately. That's the end of the over. Quick replay of that last shot. Well, that's the attempt at stumping, isn't it? Yeah, just whipped off the bails, but looked like his back foot was in all right. So that's the end of the 8th. 64 for 1.
Well, George Dockrell, he's been shuffling his resources. Already used 6 bowlers after 8 overs.
Is he going to keep himself on? For 1 second, that Mikey O'Reilly was coming back. In fact, that may be the case. Dockrell hasn't taken his cap off, so he's just a 1 over, 1 for 5. So Mikey O'Reilly, who opened the bowling from the commentary box end, is the one who's coming back.
Well, with the 2 spinners on, the run rate had come down, I say come down to 8 and over. But returning to pace now with Mikey O'Reilly from the St John's end.
Sliced away, but there's a fielder back there. And a quick run gets them through.
Well, there's been a lot of changes to the Leinster squad since we last saw them in action, of course. It was down in the Mardyke. The second festival scheduled for Breedy, unfortunately, saw no cricket. No games completed anyway. 1 was started out of the 6. And here we are now, festival number 3.
That's well bowled. Just for a second, he thought about shuffling down the track, but he saw him coming. Nicely bowled, held it back. Cummins 1 shy now was 50. We're at the other end. 5 from his 9 deliveries faced. Man out. PJ Moore for 7. Swing and a miss.
That's the first time Cummins has seemed unsure about which shot he wanted to play. He seemed to change his mind halfway through there, realised the ball wasn't the one that he expected and wanted to take on. Not so much a false shot as just, well, I suppose he ended up just letting that go.
There's that famous ridge as well they talk about a lot here in Pembroke, just in front of Cummins. This is one way of getting to your 50, straight up and over our heads here at the commentary box end. And Aidan Seavers signals the maximum, and he's gone to 50 in a rapid quick time. 55 from 34. Murray Cummins, a brilliant 50 for him to open up the Munster Reds account here against the Leinster Lightning, the defending champions. Well done, sir.
Well, I said before that he changed his mind in the shot. In this case, his mind was crystal clear, and that ball has come flying over our position. He's gone again.
He's gone big again. Slightly to the left-hand side of us. But again, power hitting from Cummins. Takes him into the 60s, and 2 in a row.
It hasn't taken him long to get to 50, and then he went straight through the 50s to 61, and it's only taken him 35 balls, and he's leading from the front here for the Munster Reds.
That's good batting as well. He's got a couple of maximums, and now just carves it away into the leg side to pick up a single. And that means there's 9 overs down and 78 for 1. Munster Reds, who lost the toss and were asked to bat this morning in this first game. Knights against the Warriors coming up at 3:30. But this is the concentration on the team that won the IP20 last year and the IP20 champions, the Leinster Lightning. Cummins on 62. Maguire hasn't seen a lot of the strike recently. He's on 5, and Simi Singh is going to continue now. From the far end, Mikey Riley got a bit of tap in that last over. Tries to catch it, and that should be out. Straight down the throat of the fielder. And Singh gets his man. Sweeping. And that's their second wicket. And it falls the first ball of the 10th over. Nicely bowled by Singh. Just held it back a bit. And the sweep from Commons. Caught by Tector. Down on that boundary for a well hit 62 from 37 deliveries. Well batted, sir.
Well, Leinster get their man. You got the feeling once Cummins reached that half century so emphatically, he was looking for more big shots. In this case, he picked out Tim Tector, just behind square leg. And he departs for, yes, a very well made 62 at a very good strike rate. 6 fours, 4 sixes, some nice symmetry to that. And himself, Cummins and Maguire, well, they put on 53 for that second wicket.
Ali Frost next in. Right-handed bat, wearing 27 from Malahide. Playing his Interpro career with the Munster Reds. 53 they put on for that second wicket, taking the score from 25 to 78 in the 10th over. And Singh with his first wicket. A couple of changes in the field now. They had the right-left combo going on, so it's 2 right-handers now in Maguire and Frost. A little bit of rebuilding work to do now after that salvo from Cummins. Maguire, as I mentioned, hasn't seen much of the action. Oh, is that 2 and 2? Looks like it went straight through him. Appeal to Paul Reynolds, not given.
Well, new batsman at the crease, always at their most vulnerable then. That one thudding into a pad. Singh asking the question. Paul Reynolds turning down the request.
Nicely done, whipped away. Oh, that's 2 descending upon that. Neither dived nor made the attempt to stop it, and it went straight through the middle of them. They were quite close to the ball, but it just had enough impotence to get over the ropes.
Just seemed like the 2 fielders out here on the leg side left it for each other. No calling. You'd have thought one of them might have put in a dive for that.
I don't think George Docker will be too impressed by that, neither will the bowler. So Frost off the mark, having survived an LBW shout in the previous delivery. Getting a little grayer overhead. Wind is certainly starting to pick up. It's blowing across the ground. Once you're looking at it, you can feel it from left to right. The wind whipping across our microphones here as well. You can hear that too.
Well, you see a distinct change in the rhythm of the game now that Cummins has gone. He had scored well and quickly, but with the fall of that wicket now, 2 relatively new batsmen. Even though Maguire's been there for a few overs, he didn't get much of the strike.
And a welcome dot ball, and also that wicket as well in that over. End of 10, halfway through. Munster Reds having been asked to bat, having lost the toss this morning. Nicely placed, over 8 runs and over. If they can keep that impetus going, they should clearly get close to the 200 mark. Moore, the first one to go, on for 7 off the bowling of Harbison, caught by Sidhu. Commons with that 62 from 37. Maguire and Frost on out. Batsman.
Well, the Leinster Lightning already in 10 overs. They've used the 6 bowlers, the only ones with wickets against their name. Singh bowling very well, 1 for 9 from his 2, and Harbison picked up that first wicket. The openers now not going quite as well. It's George Dockrell to continue from St John's end.
Big appeal from Dockrell. I think that was going down leg. The wicketkeeper was moving down leg as well. Actually, he brought on Mikey O'Reilly, didn't he, for the previous over? And he's brought himself back on. Dockrell, just the one over from him thus far. This is the appeal again.
Well, you just feel that the sense of timing isn't quite there for Maguire and Frost at the moment. And the change of pace, and of course Dockrell, very experienced bowler.
Much flatter delivery that time, just a single from it. And the cricket bowlers have been the one who've paid the price this morning in terms of concession of runs. Dockrell and Singh have just pulled them back a bit. That run rate is now on 8, but was up as high as 9.5 not so very long ago. Might think about a second here, but Harbison comes in. Good throw.
Could be the way for the day. It will be the spinners taking the pace off the ball, making the batsmen do all the work.
Might think about a second one here. I thought about it, but the misfield by O'Reilly has allowed them to run through for those 2 runs. He's backing up, hit him in the knees.
Well, the initial good work from Mudford down on the boundary, undone by his throw, missing his keeper, allowed them to come through for the second anyway.
Whipped away, and that should be stopped by Harbison. Did well to the run through for 2, though. He was scurrying away to his left-hand side to bring that back in. 11 down now, 89 for 2. Maguire on 6, Frost on 10. 9 overs to be bowled of the Munster Reds innings.
Well, that last ball of the over, Maguire really had to... Well, he premeditated his shot, going down to sweep, but he really had to reach for the delivery in the end. He managed to squirt it out towards Cow Corner. And it was far enough away from the fielders to allow them to get back for the second and take the score on to 89 for 2, keeping that run rate just above 8 still after 11 overs.
Changes once again. So Harbison's going to switch ends. He bowled a couple, or one I think, wasn't it, from this end. So he's switching to the far end. So Singh has bowled 2 of his potential 4 overs.
Well, Dockrell using 6 bowlers so far, and that will give him some flexibility at the end. We'll leave him with choices of bowlers getting towards the tail end of this innings. But at the moment, 9 overs left, and Harbison coming in from the nursery end. Oh, that was a nothing shot from Maguire on that occasion. Just sort of waved his bat after the ball had gone past.
Stepped away. Harbison bowled it away to his right-hand side. He's got nothing on it. That ball's important now, this stage of the innings. And he's chopped it on. Well, the previous delivery didn't deal with it very well, and this one again just kind of stood there, no foot movement at all. That's their 3rd down in the 12th over. And Maguire departs for 6 with the score on 89 for 3 now. So this very good start given to them by Murray Cummins just seems to be imploding a little bit.
After such a good start for the Munster Reds, Maguire, he'll be disappointed with this, just dragging on this Harbison ball. Gave himself room, and again, big gap between body and bat. Once he took the inside edge, well, the only thing that was going to stop it was the stumps. And suddenly the Munster Reds will be looking at the scoreboard. It was at one stage 78 for 1, but 2 quick wickets down. That brings Tyrone Kane to the middle.
Another right-hander, Tyrone Kane. This is club cricket with Phoenix. Captain of the Munster Reds. In at 5. Little rebuilding work to do, as you say, 78 for 1. PJ Moore is the captain, but Kane has captained this side in the past. Good comeback from Harbison.
Yeah, somewhat unfortunate that his first over was in the middle of the Murray Cummins show. And he took a bit of tap in his first over, even though he did take the wicket. And now, having taken his second, he's brought Tyrone Kane to the middle.
Well, it's definitely a wide. You had 2 Tyrone Kanes there to hit that one.
Calling for the step ladder from the sidelines.
He bent his back with that, didn't he? Tried to bump his man. But halfway down the track, took a tennis ball bounce, and wicketkeeper actually did well to grab that because it was heading up as he jumped. Thinking about a 2 here? No. Kane sends his man back.
Good work from the keeper, Donegan, there. He covered a good 20-25 yards to make sure it was only a single. The way the field is spread, he was very aware of the situation.
There's a reach for that. Did really well, actually, to cut that away behind square on the off, and Tim Tector, nothing he can do about that. That's 4 runs.
Even better news for the Munster Reds is Paul Reynolds called no ball.
And a free ball.
And now it'll be a free hit.
Yeah, reached for that really nicely. Got plenty of bat on ball. Tector could not cut that off as it flew to the boundary despite the wet conditions. So this is a bonus. Free hit. it castles him. Just tried to drive that through the leg, so he's practicing the shot after it's been played. So that's well bowled by Harbison, in fairness to him. Here it is again.
Well, just the right line and length, clipping the off stick, but free hit, so no damage to the Munster Red scorecard. They're closing in on 3 figures now.
Just be the single, and he will retain the strike. Randy Frost, he's moved to 16 at the end of the 12th over. It's 97 for 3. Munster Reds having been asked to bat this morning. Frost on 15, Kane just the single. 8 overs to go. Run rate just over 8.
Well, the value of that Murray Cummins not really coming to the fore now. Munster, well, they're closing in on 3 figures. Still 8 overs remaining. They'll be looking to get to 160s, 180s, somewhere around there. 8 or 9 and over as they get towards the back end of this innings. It's been a fine start to the day, fine start to the festival for Munster.
Well, at one stage they're looking at something north of 200, but Dockrell has done well as he brings himself back on, but This time it's lofted over extra cover. 4 runs. Bit of a loose one from Dockrell to start his overs. A couple of overs ago. But this one, again, a little bit of a loose one.
Just left that outside off. Didn't require too much footwork for the batsman. He knew that he could lift it out to that corner safely enough. That brings up 100 for Munster. 12.1. Manufactured shot into the leg side, brings up another single. And the sun returns. Plenty of cloud around, but none of it too threatening at the moment.
Well, threat of rain a little later on today. Hopefully the forecast is wrong. We get through the 2 games. 2 games today. Knights against the Warriors is match 2. We have 2 tomorrow and then 2 on Thursday. Wrap up this IP20 series. Tries to catch it at high in the air. Got away with it.
One of those where the mishit was actually to the batsman's advantage. It dropped well in front of Fionn Hand down at the clubhouse. Well,
that's an extraordinary shot. It's gone all the way to the boundary for 6. He slipped in the action, Frost, of whipping that to the leg side, and it fairly sailed over the boundary.
Don't keep an eye on the ball here, keep an eye on the batsman. His front foot slips, but he still keeps his eye on the ball and gets enough on it to clear the rope. Well, that could be one of the more unusual 6s we see this week.
That is just absolutely extraordinary. His front foot, you could see it sliding underneath him. Somehow he managed to get bat on ball and a flat 6. And now carved away for 4. Well, Dockrell had started well in his opening 2 overs, but he's getting a little bit of tap in this one. 6 in the previous ball, 4 from that one.
Well, that would not have been the over the Leinster Lightning captain was looking for. Kind of letting Munster get away again. Frost seems to have taken on the mantle that Murray Cummins left behind. And he's moved on to 30 from just 16 balls. And with 13 overs gone, score 113 for the loss of 3 wickets. Simi Singh now to bowl the next over. Took a wicket in his last one. It's great to see him back. He was injured early in the season on this very ground, playing for Leinster.
He'd be looking next year, won't he? Trying to force his way back into the Irish setup. Whether he will or not now is a different thing, but they have a new captain, Paul Sterling. I know it's only interim. That's pumped straight over the bowler's head. And nicely stopped down there. They're not even going to get through for the 2. Good combination. But Paul Sterling is in as the new Irish captain, but I know it's only interim till maybe September, October. But if he gets the job full time, would he be interested in bringing back Simi Singh? But anyway, that's all to be discussed on a future date, perhaps. Flatter delivery from Singh. Trying to push that through. Around the corner goes Frost. Moves to 31 from 17. A little acceleration here from Frost.
Whereas we saw earlier, Maguire getting very little of the strike while Cummins was in. Same's happening here now. Tyrone Kane, just 5 balls faced so far. Whereas Frost is racing into the 30s.
Tries to catch it, that is in the air. That should be out. 2 fielders descend upon the ball, and this time there was a bit of calling down there, and Kane, he didn't stay there very long. 5 deliveries faced, he's gone for 3, score 115 for 4. Singh gets a second.
Yes, Singh showing his experience and his value. Wickets in his last 2 overs on this occasion. Comes out the back of the hand, and that causes it to come off the edge of the bat rather than the full face. And the two fielders, there must have been some calling there. We didn't necessarily hear it here, but they understood what was happening. They took the catch. Lynch poaching that one. And that's Tyrone Kane heading back. The fourth wicket falling with the score on 115.
Little cameo, 26 for that fourth wicket. Most of the runs, though, going to Ali Frost, and not to Tyrone Kane. Matt Ford, he was due in at 5. He's coming at 6 now. Son of Greg Ford, the former Irish head coach. Comes in with a score at 115. Four wickets down. I could spell this from saying.
Well, the one thing you would say about the Lightning today is they've taken wickets at the right time. Just every time Munster look like they're going to push on ahead.
Also, what's going on there? Attempted a single, all squirting away into the offside, but appeals as well. Turned down by Reynolds. Last ball then of the 14th over. Simi Singh has bowled really well. 2 for 11. Coming to the end of his second over. In fact, at the end of his third over. He's bowling really well. I don't know what that was.
Donegan taking it full stretch. Paul Reynolds, the umpire at the standing end, wanted to consult with his partner.
There's definitely a low ball. But it's height, I think, that they're looking at.
It seems low enough going past the batsman, but it was certainly wide enough that Donegan had to put in a full stretch to get to it. I was amazed that the signal of wide didn't come straight away.
I wonder whether they're not in shot at the moment, but the two umpires are away to. There they are, Reynolds and Sievers. What have they decided? Ball just flew out of Simi Singh's hands. So what's the signal? The signal's a wide. Is that it?
Big smile on Singh's face. He was well aware of how wide that was.
That one, much better delivery. And there we go. That's the end of the over then. This is the batting card.
Cummins with the major contribution. That's 62 from just 37 balls. And he gave the Munster Reds exactly the start they wanted. But now, keep an eye on Ali Frost. 31 from just 17. And now, with just 6 overs left, changing the commentary box. We welcome back Stephen Arkin and Sean Hussey.
Yes, good fight back by Leinster Lightning after that very fast start given to the Munster Reds by Murray Cummins with that fine 62. He was second out when the score was 78. 62 out of 78, that's pretty emphatic. But now 116 for 4 with 6 to go. And it's Delaney back on. And that's turned fine. Mikey O'Reilly on the boundary there, just a single to Alistair Frost, who has taken over the Cummins mantle, if you will, for Munster Reds.
Yeah, absolutely. Ali Frost has been very impressive. I think Leinster were a little bit sloppy in those last 3 or 4 overs and just allowed Ali Frost to get in, but Simi Singh's bowled really well. Been the pick of the bowler so far today.
Short ball, fended away. Just the single to the new batter, Matt Ford. He's off the mark.
That's good captaincy, I think, from George Dockrell, bringing back David Delaney, knowing if you can get Ali Frost out in this over and really put pressure on the remaining batters to come.
Nice ball. Beating the batter outside is off stump. Frost just rehearsing his stroke for the next time. And Delaney bowling into quite a stiff breeze and looking very sprightly. As you were saying, the fastest bowler in this Leinster Lightning attack. That was a good length too. Nice delivery, no run. Good start to the over by Delaney. None for 16 in his third over. 5 overs to go after this. The run rate just dropping slightly down to just 8 and over at the moment.
Yeah, changing the field for the final 2 deliveries. Third man and final eight coming into the ring, and long on and long off, dropping out. Now expect it to be nice and full.
Another good delivery. Every dot ball is a bonus for Leinster Lightning.
Yeah, and I think when he does bowl that length, particularly up top as well, it's quite difficult to get away, David Delaney, with that extra pace. When he bowls that good length delivery, and he's doing a wonderful job here for his side.
Frost is well set, and he's been struggling to get Delaney away. Can he do something with this next delivery? Oh, he certainly can. He's lifted that one high and handsome. Well out of the ground for a fine 6. Second 6 of his innings. Ray takes his score to 38.
Yeah, slower delivery from Delaney, and he picks it, does Ali Frost, and it's gone many a mile well into the gardens in Pembroke. Magnificent shot. Just David Delaney will be very disappointed. That over was good up until then, and a 6 from the final delivery means it's 8 from the over, and Munster Reds with 5 overs to go are 124 for 4.
Yeah, and a slight delay here, because I think we're going to have to find a suitable cricket ball to continue with. 5 overs to go. Simi Singh, as you were saying, the pick of the bowlers, he's only got 1 left. George Dockrell was expensive in his third over. He's only got 1 left. Still Mikey O'Reilly, Fionn Hand. Delaney has 1 more as well. So it'll be interesting to see how George Dockrell uses his bowlers in these crucial last 5 overs. Singh will continue over number 16. And that's straight down the throat of the fielder at long off. And that's a big wicket. Matthew Ford goes for 1. And the score goes to 124 for 5. And that's a big wicket for Leinster Lightning. Well into the middle order now of the Munster Reds batting lineup. And Ford didn't get all of this.
Another wicket for Simi Singh. Looks to be the leg breaker. He's bowled a few of them today, the leg spinners. And that one gets the wicket of Ford. Such a useful tool to have, to be able to bowl off spin and leg spin. We're seeing it more and more commonly now in the international game, the likes of Liam Livingstone. Simi Singh there just showing the benefit of it. And he gets another wicket. He's bowled really well today. Obviously had a difficult start to the season, picking up an injury. But he's back in Leinster Lightning colours, and as he's done for a number of years now, he's delivering for them.
That's his third wicket. 3 for 12 off 3.1 overs. That's a brilliant return. Cian Egerton is the incoming batter. Was originally on the list to bat at number 11, but pushed up the order, coming in at number 7. And again, Singh deceiving the batter and getting another dot ball.
Yeah, would he be a player a lot of Munster fans will know from his time playing youth cricket down there, and spent a few years in Australia, now back playing in Dublin for Rush.
Hit solidly too long off for a single. He's off the mark. Egerton on 1, Frost on 38. He's the danger man from Leinster Lightning's point of view. They'd love to get him out.
And I think he has to take a little bit of responsibility here, Ali Frost, as well. He'll want to face as many of these final 27 deliveries.
Good mental arithmetic there. And indeed, there may be a few more with some wides and no balls thrown in. Single moves him along to 39. Again, it's good tidy bowling by Singh. He's not giving the batters much to go for. Two balls left in his spell. That was short. And a great catch, I think, by George Dockrell, running in from the long on boundary. What a catch that is. Those ones are so difficult, falling at your feet, coming in on the sprint. And Singh has another, and Leinster Lightning have removed Egerton, caught Dockrell, bowled Singh for 1. 1-2-6 for 6.
Well, the smile's back on Simi Singh's face. He's bowled beautifully, and he's been helped out here by a brilliant catch from the Leinster Lightning skipper George Dockrell. He's probably one of the best fielders in the Irish setup. And he's down at one of the most important positions at long on. It's just helped down the ground by Egerton. And look at this, keeps his eyes on it, gets his hands above the ground. And even when he makes contact with the ground, he's still able to hold on. Brilliant piece of athleticism from George Dockrell. And Singh has another.
Well, this bowling spell from Simi Singh, keeping Leinster Lightning in the game. 4 for 14 now off 3.5. He's got 1 delivery left. And it's Liam McCarthy coming in at number 8 for Munster Reds, the Railway Union man. I very much doubt if he'll have a go at this last ball of Simi Singh's spell.
Well, Simi Singh wants a 5 he's got a slip in place. Dockrell's there now.
Turned round the corner and missed by Mikey O'Reilly, who was inside the circle at backward square leg, and that's gone for 4. What a pity. Simi Singh ending by giving up a boundary, but a fantastic spell of bowling overall.
Yeah, be disappointed with that one. Full toss and swept, and a slip by Mikey O'Reilly. Just a little bit disappointing for Simi Singh, but he's bowled brilliantly. As you can see, the main man, 4 for 18 from his 4 overs, being used well by Captain George Dockrell. So 4 overs to go. You do think Fionn Hand will bowl a couple. You've got Delaney to bowl 1, and indeed George Dockrell. 2 wickets for Sam Harbinson in there as well. But Simi Singh the pick of the attack, 4 for 18.
Economy rate of just 4.5. That is superb in T20 cricket.
Yeah, it is going to be George Dockrell. And then you'd imagine the final 3 overs, 2 will be bowled by Hand and 1 by David Delaney. To Fionn Hand limbering up in the deep.
So 130 for 6 with 4 overs to go. Munster Reds probably looking at 165, 170. But with 6 down, their best batters are gone.
That's good bowling by Dockrell. He's leaving a big gap at Cow Corner. 2 men on the sweep for Ali Frost. Strong point of his, but there is a big gap at Cow Corner if he can get a slog sweep away.
Inside out shot and a chance, but it just fell short. Fielder sprinting in from the cover boundary was Riley Mudford. Couldn't quite get there. Just a single to Frost, who's off strike now. Dockrell can have a go at Liam McCarthy, who got that boundary off the last ball of Singh's spell.
That's clever bowling by Dockrell though too. Ali Frost keeping it outside the off stump. Just think next time if Frost does come on to strike, he has to get across the stumps, target that leg side.
Just 4 inside the circle, 3 on the offside, 1 on the leg side for George Dockrell. That one was on the leg side, and it's just going to be a single. McCarthy moving along to 5. And that brings Frost back on strike.
I think here Ali Frost has to recognise what George Dockrell is trying to do. Hide it outside the off stump. He has to look for cow corner. He might have to get across the stumps to access it.
And that one is just going to make the boundary just to the left of where we're sitting. Wasn't quite timed by Frost, but it was his third 6 of the innings. And he moves along to 46 off 26 deliveries.
Well, this time he gives himself room outside the leg stump and allows his hands through the ball. Just gets enough of it. For a second, Tector thought he was in the game. But good from Frost. Just recognising what Dockrell is trying to do.
Dockrell very expensive today. None for 36 now in his final 4th over. Another single to Frost takes him to 47. Murray Cummins 62 earlier in the innings. Now it's Ali Frost trying to get that second half century for the Munster Reds. That was a little bit short, but there's a man on the cover boundary. So just a single for McCarthy, who moves to 6. And that's over up. 17 gone, 140 for 6, and 10 off that final Delaney Dockrell over. None for 37, not his best performance with the ball, but we'll remember that catch for quite some time.
Yeah, it was a brilliant catch, but in fairness to George Dockrell, as he often does, he bowls at difficult times to bowl, takes on that leadership, bowled straight out of the power play earlier on, and indeed they're bowling the 17th over. So he's not afraid to use his experience.
And it looks like Fionn Hand is going to come back into the attack. None for 22 of his 2 overs so far. Going to have a crack at Liam McCarthy, the left-hander. Just 3 overs to go. Earlier on in the innings, I'm sure Munster Reds were eyeing 180 as a possible target, but 8.24 and over, they should get to about 165 if they can just keep their wickets intact. Might be a good total on a pitch like this. A little bit slower than it normally is here at Pembroke. First of these 6 Rario T20 festival matches coming up over the next 3 days. Well pitched up by Hand, straight to the fielder, and it is just about backed up. So just a single to McCarthy, who moves to 7. 141 for 6. And the man of the moment, Ali Frost, on strike. 47 off 27 deliveries. Taking a fresh guard against the medium quick Fionn Hand, coming down the ground with the wind at his back. 4 out on the boundary on the leg side, not one player inside the circle on the leg side. And played straight to cover for a single, moves him to 48 and the score to 142 for 6. Leinster Lightning will be thinking singles are good at the moment.
Yeah, have to keep the boundary options at a minimum. I think we've seen bowlers get good joy when they bowl that good length delivery. Hopefully the Munster Reds have seen what's going on here in this opening innings and will look to do the same in the second.
attempt by McCarthy to paddle that one over the top, but it didn't quite come off. Leg by, just the one run. McCarthy stays on 7, but Frost back on strike now on 48, just 2 short of his half century. As the Lewis train, one of many, just trundles past, the Dart indeed, past this famous old ground in Sandymount. Short ball pulled away handsomely, but fielded by Lynch on the boundary, so just a single for Frost, edging closer, 49 now. 144 for 6.
I don't mind that piece of bowling from Fionn Hand because the field was set for it. 3 men in the deep on the leg side.
So the left-handed McCarthy. All 4 inside the circle are on the offside. And that's smashed straight down the ground. Should have too much on the ball there yet to beat the fielders. It's a good firm boundary by McCarthy, who moves into double figures. 11 to him now.
Very good shot from Liam McCarthy. It's a part of his game he's worked extremely hard on, giving himself a little bit of room just to allow his arms through the ball. Clever shot with mid-off in the ring.
That one was a difficult one to get at. Short ball from Hand through to wicketkeeper Mark Donegan. And so at the end of 18 with 2 to go, it's 148 for 6, Frost on 49 and McCarthy on 11.
Well, I think Liam McCarthy was just looking at umpire Aidan Seaver there at square leg and hoping for a wide delivery. As you can see, when Murray Cummins was in towards the start, there was some big overs there. And indeed, Ali Frost, the big over off George Dockrell. Now there's been wickets falling in clusters, 2 in the 16th over. And the Munster Reds innings has been dominated by Murray Cummins and Ali Frost, who's closing in on a half century.
And it's Dave Delaney who's going to bowl his final over. Interesting for me that all 4 of his overs have been bowled into the wind. I thought George Dockrell might have tried him from the other end just to see what that extra pace might have done. It's great delivery.
Yeah, that's the perfect length for Delaney. I think the only thing, having seen the bounce from the Wheelfield Road end, is it might have been too much bounce for David Delaney when it does hit that ridge, as people often say, although some people dispute that there is one here, that the extra bounce, certainly from the Wheelfield Road end, might have been a little bit too much for Delaney. And definitely Liam McCarthy, although he might have wanted a wide for the final delivery of the previous over, he'd be happy with the bounce there. We've seen him already this year at interprovincial action, getting good pace and bounce. So from a bowling point of view, he won't mind what he's seen with the bounce so far.
George Dockrell just coming back to deep mid-off and bringing third man up inside the circle. Frost on 49 and really unlucky there. I think that hit his batting colleague Liam McCarthy and stopped it from going away to bring up his 50, so he's stuck there on 49 off 31 deliveries. Good bowling again though from Delaney, pitching it up well.
Yeah, he hit it too well, ricocheting into middle stump, the non-striker's end. So stays on 49.
Just over 8 and over.
Yeah, it was a good bowling by Delaney because he went full because he had protection down the ground. There's a lot of communication between him and Captain George Dockrell.
And that'll be the 50 for Ali Frost. Cut away to the point boundary. Fine innings.
Yeah, wonderful.
3 sixes,
wonderful
3
knock
fours
from Ali Frost. Just when you thought maybe the Munster Reds were struggling, And Murray Cummins was dismissed and they lost wickets in clumps. And so well made half century by Ali Frost. Hasn't always been fluent, but with 4 fours and 3 sixes, he's made a wonderful half century here for a side, but he'll be looking to get his side up and over that 165 mark.
Good strike rate, 156. So it's McCarthy facing Delaney. Pulled away. Not quite timed. Straight to George Dockrell running in from the mid-on boundary. Just a single to McCarthy. Moves him to 12.
Well, this is what David Delaney can give you. That extra pace. Harder to get away at the death. I think this is why so many people have questioned why we haven't seen an awful lot of him in an Irish shirt. Because he just gives you that extra pace option. One of the quicker bowlers in the Irish club and domestic game.
So just 2 balls left in this spell from Delaney. None for 24 so far. He'd love a wicket. Oh, that's snicked away. Obviously no slips at this stage of the innings, and that's another boundary to Frost. Valuable runs for the Munster Reds. 154 for 6 now.
That's what extra pace does give you as a batter. He's just flown his hands at this, Ali Frost, giving himself a little bit of room. And David Delaney, well, he'll be well used to that. That's what happens when you can bowl, that extra pace.
Final ball of the 19th over. The run rate at 8.18, just 7 deliveries to go. And a hit and a miss. And was there a snick on that? The Leinster Lightning players think there was. No reaction from Aidan Seaver. Not out is the call.
There's a little bit of laughing and joking between Delaney and Frost, but umpire Seaver remains unmoved. Good delivery from David Delaney. Looked like to be skidding on. Extra bit of pace in that wicket. Just a bit quick on Frost.
Couldn't really tell there, but it may have come off his arm, I'm not sure. Looked like it hit something. Anyway, 19 overs gone, 154 for 6, 1 over to go. And that's going to be bowled by Fionn Hand. Delaney finishes up with none for 28 off his 4 overs.
I think he'll be happy with his day's work, David Delaney. Be a little bit unlucky not to pick up a wicket. But I think he's shown why so many people are interested in and want to see more of him. He's got that raw pace. A challenge for Fionn Hand now, bowling the final over. 3rd man and fine leg in the ring. And a deep square cow corner. Long on, long off, and a deep cover out.
And long off coming back inside the circle now. So it's left-hander McCarthy. Half volley hit straight to mid-off, just the single. 13 off 9 to McCarthy, 54 for Ali Frost, who's back on strike. Could expect some fireworks here from a batsman who's well and truly in and trying to get his side maybe up to about 170 by the end of the over. Full toss from Fionn Hand. It was a slower delivery and it worked quite well from Leinster Lightning's point of view, just a single.
Yeah, change of pace from Fionn Hand. Oftentimes that ball can dip on you. Just think sometimes a slower ball, lower full toss. Not the worst delivery in the world. Gets away with it though. Difficult to hit by Ali Frost. Brings McCarthy back onto strike.
4 balls to go in this Munster Reds innings. And there's one. A strange shot over the head of short 3rd man and away for a boundary. Valuable runs. McCarthy moves to 17 off 10.
It's a wonderful shot from Liam McCarthy. Just so clever with third man in the ring. Change of hands. Look at the way he changes his grip entirely. And that ball was so difficult to get over because it was directed at him. And he just beautifully used. That's a wonderful piece of batsmanship.
6 off this over so far. That was hit a little bit high on the bat. Just a single to McCarthy, bringing Frost back on strike. McCarthy moves to 18, Frost to 55. It was 126 when these two came together. So they've pushed the score along. 2 balls to go. They've achieved 8 and over at least. It's a good target, really. On a day like this, cloud cover and the pitch a little bit slower than it usually is. George Dockrell having a long confab there with the bowler Fionn Hand to decide maybe on exactly where they want the fielders for this next delivery. Frost on 55 of 35 deliveries. Just 2 balls to go in the innings. Sidhu is coming up inside the circle at short backward, and a short ball from Hand sails over the head of Ali Frost, and there's just 1 to go.
Well, it's a bit of a risky delivery by Hand with fine leg in the circle. That really skidded off the pitch.
Signalled as 1 for the over by umpire Paul Reynolds, but just 1 delivery left. Frost on 55. And it's smashed straight down the ground. And all the way, clears the sight screen at the far end. A fantastic 6 to Ali Frost to take his score to 61 of 37 deliveries. And the final total for the Reds, 167 for 6.
Well, what a shot. But Hand doesn't get his length right here whatsoever. It's in the slot. And that is just an easy way to finish by Ali Frost. A wonderful shot. Full extensions of the arms. And that's a wonderful innings from him to get to 61 and get a side up and above 165. They'll feel like they're in the game. Fabulous hitting at the end.
He came in when Cummins was out when the score was 78 for 2. And he scored 4 fours and 4 sixes in that fine innings of 61. Here's a look at the card. Top scorer Cummins on 62 off 37. Frost 61 off 37. That's great hitting. And a fine 18 not out from McCarthy at the death after Munster Reds had lost a lot of wickets quite cheaply. And the best of the partnerships, the 53 from Cummins and Maguire, and McCarthy and Frost at the death with 41. A really good final partnership, that, unbroken.
Simi Singh was the pick of the bowlers. 4 for 18. Sam Harmison, just the 2 overs for him. He picked up 2 wickets. David Delaney was impressive despite being wicketless. 4 overs, none for 28. Fionn Hand, a touch expensive, bowling at the death and opening up. 4 overs, none for 42.
They went from 115 for 3 to 6 down with several overs to go, and they've actually done really well overall. The Reds with 167 for 6. And Cummins and Frost with the bat, Singh and Harbinson with the ball. They were the standout performers in that first innings. We'll be coming back in a few minutes' time to see how Leinster Lightning get on in their quest for 168. Do join us then. But for now, from Sydney Parade, it's bye for now. See you later.
And welcome back to Pembroke Cricket Club. Craig Senior, John Kenny with you for the reply now. 168 needed for victory after Munster Reds were asked to bat this morning by Leinster, who won the toss. Very changed Leinster side. No Andy Balbirnie. He's off for personal reasons. Harvey Tector not here as well, playing that one game for Gloucestershire before he disappears. Curtis Caffrey not here either, playing for Somerset. So much changed Leinster team, trying to cling on to their title. And Craig, this is a bit of an ask, although from what we've seen the batting in the Munster Reds, there seems to be runs in the offing here because looks like a good pitch.
Yes, Murray Coleman certainly slipped into form straight away. Ali Frost also reaching a half century, and they went along at a good lick. But it seemed to be that most of the runs came from the pace bowlers. And when Dockrell brought himself and Singh on, it was a big help to Leinster in slowing down that rate that was over 10s at one stage.
A quick single. Ooh, wasn't much in that.
One felt a direct hit there. Would have seen the end of Sami Singh before he even faced his delivery. Tector off the mark and Leinster off the mark. And they'll be needing about 8.5 and over. Even right from the start. Liam McCarthy it is, opening from the St John's end. Now, Sami Singh having taken his guard. Most successful with the ball in the first innings.
It's gone down high and wide down leg side. Simi Singh bowled really well. As you say, there was pace taken off the ball by Dockrell. He got a bit of tap towards the end of his fourth over. But Simi Singh, outstanding. 4 overs, 4 for 18 in a very tidy spell. Sam Harbison got the other 2 wickets to fall. 2 for 21 off just 2. So 168 for victory. First of the 2 games today. The Knights against the Warriors coming up after the conclusion of this match.
3 o'clock, I think. The official start time will be 3 for that second game. Northwest Warriors and the Northern Knights, the teams at the top of the table at the moment.
Another wide. Just 8 extras in the Leinster Lightning bowling, which was good. Already 2 wides in this over from McCarthy. Ooh. That's dissected everybody. Went straight through Simi Singh. And it's gone all the way to the boundary. I thought that might have been buys, but he must have got something on that. Bit of a Chinese cut. Past the wicket-keeper. Down for 4.
Well, it's a good bit of movement from McCarthy there. Singh not playing the shot he wanted to, but got enough on it. It ran away to an unprotected boundary. That's the sort of thing that gets Leinster off to a decent start in this first over.
Oh, it's better. Well bowled. Singh drops his hands underneath that, but it's gone past him by the time he'd done that. PJ Moore is the Munster wicket-keeper. Little smile from McCarthy. He knows how close that was.
Well, there are times when you're a batsman that you just have to acknowledge. Very good delivery.
Down the track goes Singh. Didn't quite get all of that. Should pick up a couple.
Singh coming down the track to that delivery. Not getting it as he wanted to. Ended up having to manufacture a shot and push it into the leg side.
Just having a little problem with our graphics at the moment. We'll hopefully rectifying that now in the next few moments. That's the third wide in the over. That's what they're chasing, 168. McCarthy batted well when he came in, actually. Important runs. 18 from his 11 faced. This one again on the leg side was turned around the corner by Singh, who retained the strike.
Well, a decent first over for Leinster, helped by McCarthy's 3 wides in that over. As you say, Leinster did very well at reducing or keeping down the number of extras in that Munster innings. And Munster will be hoping that, well, there aren't too many more of those wides. McCarthy bowling with a good pace. He had a couple of deliveries in there that caused real difficulty for the batsman, but also a few that were wide enough for Aidan Sievers to let the scorers know. So 11 runs coming from that first over. That's exactly the start that Leinster would have wanted. Now coming on to bowl from the nursery end will be Manley. Well, you see we have our graphics back. Target of 168, 11 for naught.
Now they're claiming that's out, and Singh is standing there, and finally Paul Reynolds decides, after a long consultation between himself and his brain, to finally give that out. Munster were convinced. Singh stood his ground, and Paul Reynolds eventually put the finger up, and the first wicket falls in the second over, 11 for 1.
Well, Paul Reynolds certainly gave Simi Singh plenty of opportunity to walk, and whilst he stayed there, finally Paul Reynolds sent him on his way with the raised finger. He heads back to the dressing rooms, and the first wicket down for Leinster with 11 on the board.
Josh Manley, first delivery. It's a wicket. .168 for victory. That's not the best of starts. Here it is again.
Well, he's given himself room and then found himself too far away from the ball. Got the swing of the bat, took the slightest of edges, through behind the stumps. Eventually, after the delay, Simi Singh had to go, and that brings Riley Mudford to the crease.
And off the mark. Riley Mudford, the 21-year-old New Zealand player. First taste of interprovincial cricket for him. Replaces Simi Singh, the departed Simi Singh. Straight to backward point, a good stop, but plenty of time to run through for a single. It's grey overhead, but just out of your shot away to our left-hand side, there seems to be a break up in the clouds. You might get some sunshine now very shortly, which will be welcome. If you're in the area, why not pop down and watch some top-class interprovincial IP20 cricket between the defending champions, the Leinster Lightning, and the IP50 champions, Munster Reds. Little charge, no run.
Well, the way Mudford went down the track after that one, you wouldn't say he's overawed by the occasion anyway.
$168 to win this game. Tries a catch, so that's up and over the slips and all the way for the maximum. If you're going to slash hard, and that's exactly what he did. But now the track and Munford, and that's the maximum.
Well, they're not the longest boundaries straight here in Sydney Parade, and take advantage of that. One that just flies straight into the sight screen.
Tries to catch it, flipped into the leg side, just be the single. A very wet July, as you mentioned, also a very wet July across in the UK as well. That's the end of that over, 20 for 1. But there was success with the first ball for Josh Manley, getting rid of Simi Singh.
A fine over from Manley, just that slash outside off that went for 6, down to third. Other than that, it was a very tidy over for Manley. Of course, making the breakthrough as well.
We were just talking about the weather here. Obviously, it's very green looking out there. Stephen Alcott alluded to it before the match got underway, that the pitch itself, the track, is very green looking out there. And there's a very good comparison Sky showed yesterday during the test match about the weather back in, I think it was 80, it was 81 at Yorkshire when Headingley, when Bob Willis took his 8-4. It was just the whole, except the track itself was brown, whereas the oval yesterday was lush green. Just shows the difference in the weather from all those years ago. Somebody said, I wouldn't have fancied being batting on that track when Bob Willis was coming steaming in, taking his 8-4. It was parched. And Michael Holding also. Those days. Whispering Death, bowling in those conditions with the blackwash, as they called it, back in the 70s, beating England 5-0. Certainly had a lot of indifferent weather conditions in July, and we're just happy now to get into August, and hopefully we get ourselves a good, decent month. Get some cricket in, finish off the IP20 series and the IP50s as well. And I'm disappointed not to qualify for the World Cup itself. But at least they have the consolation of getting to the T20 finals next year. Almost flipped in the air. Ooh, just falls short. Trying to work it into the leg side. Big, thick outside edge, but got away with that.
He got squared up there by the bowler. You could see where he was looking to play it. But squared up, and it squirted off the bat on the offside. Ian Egerton has been drafted into the squad for this festival. Oh, that is very, very good bowling from Egerton. Slower delivery, and it beat everybody, including PJ Moore behind the sticks. And runs away to the boundary. Moore onto the total for Leinster.
Surprised. Moore. Oh, it didn't miss by much, did it? Moore was surprised. The ball didn't come up as far as he thought he would. Maybe it hit that ridge and kept it a bit low. 4 byes. And now to rub salt into the wounds. Is it going to go for 4? No. Good fielding down there. Keeps it to a couple.
Well, that's a super piece of fielding that saves the Munster Red 2 runs. Nicely bowled. Egerton just watching the batsman there. Saw him giving himself some room, tacked up, and he followed him out there, kept him cramped up. Another dot ball, and that's a fine first over of provincial cricket for Egerton. Just the 4 runs coming off the bat.
He bowled well there, Keane Egerton. That's the end of the third. 28 for 1, chasing 168 for victory. Well, that loss of the first wicket of Simi Singh hasn't really slowed Leinster down. Going along at over 9 and over. But again, the start of the Munster innings, we saw a similar thing when Cummins, as they say, came to the party. He really got Munster off to a great start. Chance for Manley to continue. Swing and a miss. This was interesting, wasn't it? That early part of the Leinster Lightning innings, when they were going with pace, or of the Munster Red innings, I say, when Leinster were going with pace, they got a little tap, didn't they? So when Dockeran and Singh came on, that the overrate slowed down, and Singh bowled extremely well for his 4 overs, taking 4 for. George, a little expensive towards the end of his spell, but first couple of overs really good from the Leinster captain. That's in the air. Is it going to beat everybody? Yes, it has. And it's gone all the way for 4. Nothing the fielder can do about that.
Well, we're in the power play, and the Leinster players are making the most of that. They're quite willing to take to the air. As long as they clear the ring, they know they're relatively safe. Takes it opening the face of the bat, playing it in the air, knowing there was nobody out in the boundary. 4 more to the total.
Slower delivery, paddle around the corner. There's a man there. But, well run. Tim Tactor, one of the 3 Tactors playing at the highest level in Irish cricket. Harry, the superstar really of Irish cricket these days. That one game for Gloucestershire we mentioned before he heads off on holidays. Seems like a strange decision. It's a 50-over match as well. But as you mentioned to me off Mike, these cricketers are playing pretty much all year round, so you got to take a holiday sometime. That's in the air. There's nobody down there again. Well, there is a fielder, but nobody near the ball. And you're right, this seems to be the ploy, is it? You know, with the power play still going on, just lofted over the infield. It's only the 2 men out at the moment, so they're picking their spots.
Well, the 2 men out at the moment are that deep square leg and a 3rd man, which does leave a bit of space.
That's in the air and tries to catch it, but the man who's going to catch it is the guy down outside the men's toilets. That's a huge hit down the ground. 2 from the previous delivery, and now that's gone for the maximum as well. And it's a really good start from the Lightning.
This is good from Mudford. Absolutely still as the bowler comes in. Front foot across, and then just the bat following through. The line of the ball, clearing the fence. And again, you wonder if Munster could do with turning to spin as soon as they get out of this power play.
Well, they're going to have to do something to stymie these runs. 42 of them now. Just lost on 1 wicket. Simi Singh going early. And that wraps up that over. 42 for 1.
Well, he took a wicket in his first over, did Manley, but since then, in fact with his first ball, but the following 11 balls have gone for 22 runs, and it's the Leinster players' willingness to take on the bowling, looking aerial, and now we find ourselves with just 2 more overs in the power play. It's going to be Egerton to continue from the St John's end.
Yeah, just the 4 runs from Egerton's first over. Bowled really well and lucky not to take a wicket. The slip is gone. Flipped away into the leg side. And that's gone all the way as well. That was a nonchalant little flip from Riley Mudford off the legs. And Egerton is a good first over, but his first ball of his second has gone all the way.
Well, that is a super shot, just clipped away. You can see why Mudford so highly rated. He's certainly showing what he can do at the moment with this field in at the moment for the power play. And Egerton, well, when you concede a 6 from your first ball, puts a lot of pressure on you for the rest of the over.
Yeah, batsmen know they've done their job with just the very first ball, so 5 to come. Anything else after this now really in bonus territory, and that's high, and that's going to go for a maximum as well. Our cameraman just taking a bit of avoiding action there too. So 2 and 2. Egerton has now conceded 2 boundaries, 2 maximums, and all of a sudden Leinster have gone past 50.
Well, it's hard to believe after the assaults that Murray Cummins had in the first few overs for the Leinster Lightning, so much so that Munster reached 55 for 1 at the end of the power play. Oh, 54 for 1, and still another over to go after this one. Egerton only going for 4 from his first 6 balls, has gone for 12 from the next 2.
Steps across. Pumps it into the vacant area down there. So a couple of maximums and now 4. 16 runs off the first 3 deliveries. This game could be over very early indeed. 58 without a 1 loss, I should say. 58 for 1. 4 runs. 6-6-4. First 3 balls. And the New Zealander, 21-year-old Mudford. First game for Leinster Lightning. Oh, doesn't seem overawed by the occasion by any stretch. Surprise, surprise, dot ball.
This time, Egerton, far fuller delivery. He gets the dot ball as a reward. He'll be delighted just to see that one not crossing a boundary somewhere.
Not a lot of love for the bowlers in T20 cricket. The odd dot ball here and there is a prize. Down the track that comes, and that's 4 more. Just dropped it on length, and Mudford said, thank you very much. Whipped into the leg side, 4 more. That's 20 of this over so far.
Nice footwork down the track and good wrists. Whip that ball away. Another boundary, the 4th of the over.
Playing encouragement from the Munster players for Egerton, asking him to get out of this over. Not too much more damage. He does well. Actually, he's shy of the stumps, and is that out? Ooh. And Paul Reynolds had a look at that on the square leg boundary. That was quick thinking by Egerton. And Mudford survives into that over. 62 for 1.
Egerton was just looking to get out of this over. Went with a good length. And good reactions to take out the middle stump with his throw. Put the batsman safely back. Panic over for Leinster. That's a big over for Leinster. 20 coming from it, from those 4 boundaries. Mudford very quickly has moved on to 37 from just 16 balls. And they've even brought the run rate required down closer to 7 rather than the 8.5 we started with.
Well, way ahead of where they should be, and way ahead of where Leinster were. It's the last ball of the power, or last over the power play. 62 for 1 after 5. A lightning start by the Lightning. A change of bowling now as well.
Tyrone Kane coming in from the nursery end. Well, we may have cursed the rain when it was here during July, but it has left the ground well nourished, looking well.
Yeah, looks splendid. Sun has actually made a little breakthrough as well. Overhead into our left-hand side. It's a very pleasant afternoon here at Sydney Parade. Down the track. Think anything on that. And a rare dot ball. Kane started all right here. It's a concession of the 1 run so far. But that run rate very high, 11.81, miles ahead of where Munster were in their innings. And the required run rate in and around 7. With plenty of wickets in hand, you would think that target of 168 should be easy. But wickets have changed all that, though. That's 4 runs. Nicely done. Just 2 steps down the track. Little swivel of the hips from Mudford and all the way along the ground to the boundary.
Well, this shot, not the one perfect connection. It was more about his power into the shot rather than timing, but he got enough on, and it just reaches the boundary ahead of the fielder.
Again, down the track he comes, and again gets similar treatment. This one better timed from Mudford, races to the boundary, and a couple of back-to-back boundaries. They're trying to get there in a hurry. 73 for 1 now.
Well, the last one was all about the power. This one, he got his timing right, and that sailed away, clearing the rope without a bounce. And an over that 2 balls ago looked very promising for Tyrone Kane. Suddenly there's 11 from 4 balls.
Oh, it's in the air. But there's going to be nobody underneath that except that man by the men's toilets too. That's a couple of back-to-back 6s. He really is enjoying himself out there. I thought the previous one had actually gone for 4, but it wasn't. It was the maximum. Flat shot. And that one just stand and deliver.
Well, what a way to bring up your half century. It's slapped away on the offside, scattering the crowds, and actually landing on the roof of the Pembroke clubhouse. And that's a super 50. It's only taken him 20 balls. Strike rate of 265. 6 6s and 3 4s in 20 minutes. I think he's scored more runs in 20 minutes than I have done in the last 20 games. But my goodness, this is
53
clean.
from 20. That's just extraordinary. Really is.
And by and large, it's been good, clean hitting as
It has.
well.
Yeah.
You can see why he was so highly rated and why he's in this Leinster Lightning side. That is a super, super half century. Leinster will be hoping now that he goes on even further.
Well, what do you do as a bowler here? Mudford slashing into all parts of the ground. Tyrone Kane looking to get out of this one with very little damage, and well, the damage has been done in the over, and Mudford now retains the strike, which is good from their point of view as well. Poor old Tim Tector at the other end is a virtual spectator. 80 for 1. We're going to have a change of commentary. as the Leinster Lightning build up this total and head towards that 168 required.
Well, that's been lovely to look at, hasn't it? Brilliant innings so far from this young New Zealander, Riley Mudford. Yeah, Munster Reds can do to stem this tide. 80 for 1 in the power play. Just to give you an idea, Munster Reds, who did all right, were 55 for 1 in their power play. Change of bowling then. Mike Frost. First ball, and Mudford has to go. Well, can you believe it? After all that fantastic hitting, Sean, we're about to have a different game here.
Yeah, and the spin, immediate move to spin works for Riley Mudford. He likes pace on the ball. We saw him make a wonderful century here for his club Railway Union on this very ground in the Leinster T20 semi-final, when he blasted the ball to all parts, making a wonderful century. But this is brilliant from Frost, just a little bit slower. You can see him waiting on it. Riley Mudford, and is always thinking attack. A beautiful piece of bowling. Sends the off-stump cartwheeling. And it's exactly what the Munster Reds needed coming out of the power play.
Well, it was 11 for 1 when Mudford came in. It's 80 for 2 now, and it took them exactly 5 overs to accumulate those runs. 69. Mark Donegan is the new batter.
Yeah, in fairness to Riley Mudford, he was outstanding and has given his side a real leg up in this one. Some of the hitting was absolutely extraordinary.
He has tremendous bat speed through the ball.
Well, as I said, I watched him make that 100 here, and I was telling everyone who'd listened to me about what I had seen. So I think from his point of view, to show everyone on the interprovincial stage just the array of clean hitting. And he's one of them, the way he plays, he can often get out quickly. But if he does get in, he can really score at an alarming rate.
Just for the record, Mudford's 54 took 22 minutes, 3 fours and 6 sixes. He had more sixes than he had singles. That's the type of batter he is. But it's a new game now. Tector has just 11 off 9. Now, was that saved or did it touch the rope? I think it might have just touched the rope. And we've got a Munster Reds player down, unfortunately. Fell very awkwardly trying to save that boundary.
Yeah, it looks like it's Cian Egerton down there. It's an exceptional piece of work to claw that ball back in. Looks to be in that real discomfort.
Yeah, it is Egerton, and he's landed very heavily on his shoulder. And he hasn't moved since trying to make that stop on the boundary rope. So let's hope he's okay. We're going to have a slight delay here. Twelfth man for Munster Reds is Matt Weldon. Dejected body language on the part of the Munster Reds, who must have started this reply from Leinster Lightning in a pretty positive mood, having scored 167 for 6, but it's been completely eclipsed by that Mudford innings.
Yeah, you can just see Cian Egerton down, getting some medical treatment from the Cricket Ireland physio there. But as you say, they've just been I think, shocked really by what Riley Mudford has managed to do. Outstanding hitting, getting Leinster Lightning well above the run rate and just putting them in total control. It's almost been like landed a sucker punch by Leinster, taking the wind out of the Munster Red sail. No, this is not going to help matters either. Cian Egerton down. Looks to be in real discomfort, landed awkwardly on his shoulder, trying to haul that ball back in. So he may be well in for a lengthy delay here.
Well, for those of you who might be joining our telecast late, this is how Cian Egerton picked up that injury. It's a wonderful save, but at what cost? He's sitting up now, thank goodness. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Munster Reds, 167 for 6 as we look at the Manhattan for the Leinster Lightning innings.
You can see the final 2 overs of the Leinster Lightning power play. And Riley Mudford was in full display there. Outstanding hitting. 6 sixes in his innings. And one thing about the Munster Reds was the wickets they lost in clumps. In that middle part of their innings after Murray Cummins was so effective at the start. And then Ali Frost at the end. But in the middle they kind of lost their way. Leinster Lightning well ahead of the game at the moment.
Yeah, they're halfway to the runs required. And we're only in the 7th over. So big favourites to go on and win their first match of this Rario T20 series. We had a wonderful time down in the Mardyke on the first 3 days of the festival, which saw the Northern Knights winning all 3 matches against their rivals. Leinster Lightning, for their part, losing all of theirs. Northwest Warriors with a couple of wins and Munster Reds with just the one. So certainly Northern Knights are the team to beat this week, and they will be up against the Northwest Warriors in our second match today, which is coming to you live from Sydney Parade Cricket Ground, the home of Pembroke Cricket Club, at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Well, Cian Egerton sitting up, just in recovery mode, having picked up that injury, bravely trying to save a boundary. Certainly looks like he might not be able to take any further part in this match. One of Munster Reds bowlers, of course. And he's holding that right arm rather gingerly, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's the right shoulder. You can see the physio there. Just going in with him to get some treatment. May well be off to get an x-ray in a little while because he looks to be in severe pain.
Well, Matt Weldon, the 12th man, is on the pitch, and we're about to resume here with Leinster Lightning 83 for 2. The umpires there in shot. Paul Reynolds at the far end, Aidan Seaver at this end.
Yeah, we are getting news that it looks like he's dislocated his shoulder. Cian Egerton, so
that's really bad luck for him at the start of this busy week, and when he would have been hoping to show not just his batting prowess but also his effectiveness with the ball. He'd bowled a couple of overs for 24 runs on the receiving end of several big blows from the bat of Riley Mudford. So back to the cricket, 6.3 overs gone. Leinster Lightning resuming on 83 for 2. Tector on strike with 11 off 10 deliveries. And Mark Donegan just arrived at the crease before that injury. Shorter delivery, punched away to deep cover. Just the single for Tector, who moves to 12. Important for Munster Reds to keep the pressure on here. The quick scorer is back in the pavilion, and these two batters haven't really got going yet. Ali Frost with a good opening over. Wicket off his first ball to get Mudford. That was hit just a little bit uppishly to point, but didn't quite carry. So the end of a very good over from Matt Frost, 1 for 4. And that has just slowed things down a bit. Munster Reds maybe starting to get back into the game.
Yeah, good work by Mike Frost. Picking up that all-important wicket of Riley Mudford.
Seven overs gone, 84 for 2. Leinster Lightning still well ahead of the rate. And another change now for Munster Reds. Spin at both ends, hoping that that might just slow down this Leinster Lightning march. Punched away by Tim Tector to deep cover, and little misfield out there. Leinster Lightning getting a couple.
Yeah, really good running by Tim Tector. And it's way out to Josh Manley. Quite high bounce off the mat here. And just put Manley under pressure. Good running by Tector though. That's what these two can do. No need to look for the boundary option. Let's push the ones and twos.
Same shot again from Tector. This time it'll be just the one. Josh Manley out on the fence. Tector goes to 15. Donegan on 3. Quite a pleasant day in Sydney Parade. If you're in the area and you like your cricket, why not come along and have a look this afternoon? Northern Knights against Northwest Warriors coming up at 3 o'clock. Still lots of overs to go in this one. 7.2 gone. Leinster requiring just 6.4 to win this match. 6.4 and over. Don't need to do anything too spectacular because most of the hard work has been done by Riley Mudford. Straight to short third. Fielded by Matt Ford. No run.
Well, the benefit of getting the wicket of Riley Mudford out last over means that Ben White can be brought into the attack pretty early. I think that would have been the case if Mudford was still in.
Shorter delivery. Punch to mid-off, who was a little bit deep. So a run there for Mark Donegan. He moves to 4. Tim Tector back on strike. Brother Harry away, playing with Gloucestershire this week. That's a well-hit shot to mid-wicket. Past the despairing dive of Ali Frost. Finally struck boundary that from Tim Tector, his second of the innings.
Yeah, great way to end the 8th over. Just watch how quick he picks up the length here. Something that's often said about his brother Harry. Realises it's short, rocks onto the back foot. A wonderful shot. Just again, that's the beauty of what Mudford's allowed them to do. They don't have to overhit. Just pick up the boundaries when they come, and they're in cruise control.
92 for 2 off 8 overs. Tector on 19, Donegan on 4. And that first white over going for 8 runs. So spin continuing here with Mike Frost. Took the wicket of Mudford with his first ball, and that was just past his outstretched left hand. Played uppishly down the ground by Donegan for a single. Munster Reds have to keep taking wickets if they're to get back into this game. Firmly struck into the offside. Nathan Maguire on the cover. Just a single to Tector this time. Good ball, well pitched up, a little bit quicker. Just rushing Donegan into the stroke. That's a fine strike over the top. Mark Donegan just lifting it over, wide bit off, and a good boundary for him. He goes to 9.
Glorious shot from Donegan, always in control of this. Just down the track, right through a bit of flight, and with a mid-off in.
And that's, just missed a ball there that went wide down the leg side. Munster Reds, we're not with too many runs to play with. They need to keep the bowling tight. And there goes Donegan again with a sweet hit straight down the ground for 6. Showing that anything Riley Mudford can do, he can do just as well.
Brilliant from Donegan. Again, carbon copy, flied it up there. Mike Frost does tend to do that. Give it a bit of air. That's a clean hit. And it is quite a short boundary straight in Pembroke. Clever batting by Donegan.
Expensive over this from Matt Frost. 13 off it so far. And no run here. That's the sub-fielder Matt Weldon closing in on that one. Getting it back to the keeper quickly. So at the end of the 9th over, 105 for 2 Leinster Lightning. Tector on 20, Donegan on 15. And that run rate required is under 6. So you'd have to think Leinster Lightning are well on the way here. Just 63 runs required and 11 overs to go. Ben White's going to continue. 4th over of spin in a row for Munster Reds. Again, it's short and Tector hammers it away to wide mid-on. Poor bowling from Ben White at the start of his 2nd over.
Yeah, it is short from White, but again, Tim Tector gets into a brilliant position. Picks up the length early. Just enables him the time to find that gap. Good batting. The Leinster Lightning, these two have just found the boundaries at ease the last couple of overs.
And now to Tector again. He's timing the ball nicely now. Taking over the leadership role, but Donegan also chipping in with some good boundaries to keep the momentum going forward for Leinster Lightning. $80 for 1 when these two came together. They've already put on 30. Down the ground. Is this long enough? Great catch. Is it a catch? Yeah, I couldn't quite see it. I was blocked out by the bowler at the far end, but a fine catch on the boundary. And that's the end of Donegan going for another 6. 3rd Leinster Lightning wicket falls. 110 for 3. Donegan out for 15. And that should just slow down Leinster Lightning a little bit. Maybe give a chance to the Munster Reds to get back into the game.
Well, Donegan tried to take on the boundary option again. This time looking to go over long on. It's a brilliant catch by Nathan Maguire. Jumping in the air and just had to ensure he stayed within the rope, but it's a brilliant catch. And it gives Munster Reds just a squeak. And the wicket for Ben White. A wicket apiece for the Munster Red spinners.
George Dockrell coming into bat, so Another big hitter coming to the crease. The Leinster Lightning captain, we know what he can do with the bat. Scored some really quick runs over the last few years. Not as if Munster Reds are into the game yet. They'll have to get a couple more wickets if they're to do that. Leinster Lightning batting at 11.58 and over. The required rate just 5.5. Dockrell was going for the quick run there, but it was straight to backward square leg where Matt Ford got it back in quickly, just missed the stumps. Could have been a close one had it hit. Good shout of no from Tim Tector at the far end. It was his call. Short from White, punched away by Dockrell. And a misfield on the boundary will give Dockrell a couple of runs. He gets off the mark. Leinster Lightning 112 for 3. Tector on 25. Dockrell on 2. Nobody in mid-wicket. An easy 2 again for Dockrell.
And that's something that he's very good at. It's a hallmark of George Dockrell. Just so quick across the ground.
9 off the over, but the wicket for Ben White of Mark Donegan. So at the end of 10, it's 114 for 3. And Leinster Lightning needing just 54 for victory. After 10 overs, Munster Reds were 83 for 2, so that gives you an idea of how far ahead Leinster Lightning are in this run chase. And it's Liam McCarthy being brought back into the attack. Had a very expensive first over, went for 11 runs, a few wides. Needs to be a bit more accurate on this occasion. Smashing hit, hammered down the ground by Tim Tector for a 6. Welcome back, Liam McCarthy.
Oh, what a shot this is from Tim Tector. Extra pace of Liam McCarthy. And just stands and delivers. All the way for 6. And they're in cruise control here, the Leinster Lightning.
Venture to suggest that's the longest 6 we've had today so far. Sweet hit from the bat of Tim Tector. Looks to be in really good nick.
Well, it's something Leinster have done well in the last 4 or 5 overs. When that run rate got to around 6, they still looked for the boundary option. So it didn't allow Munster back into this game at all.
Shorter delivery that time from McCarthy. Just unhittable for Tector. 1 for the over, signalled by umpire Aidan Seaver. McCarthy in just his second over, already gone for 17 runs. Better delivery from McCarthy that time. Straight to Matt Ford at mid-wicket. No run. Is there anything Munster Reds can do here?
Well, they just have to keep thinking wickets. It's their only way back into this game. And I think that's why Liam McCarthy was brought back. That extra pace. Potentially be a wicket threat.
And that's off the bottom of Tector's bat and through to wicketkeeper Peter Moore. Munster Reds with just one win in the series so far. Leinster Lightning looking for their first, looking to make an impression. Not possible for them to win the championship this year, but playing for their pride and hoping that a stronger squad here at Sydney Parade will make them competitive. Beautifully hit. One bounce away for 4 from the bat of Tector. Scorching its way to the boundary.
It's a bit of a freebie from Lee McCarthy. Short and wide and that extra pace. And that's an easy shot for Tim Tector to put away.
He's batting very fluently today.
Well, I think it's a hallmark that he struggled a little bit early on and played second fiddle to Riley Mudford. Maybe getting used to conditions out there, but as soon as Mudford's departed, Tim Tector has come into his own.
4 fours and a 6 so far. And there's another one. Cracked away to the mid-wicket boundary. Another 6 to Tector. Moves him quickly along to 41 of 23 deliveries. And a sorry end to that second McCarthy over.
Again, a little bit predictable from Lee McCarthy. Just stays on the back foot, Tim Tector. It's another clean hit from him.
130 for 3 of 11, and McCarthy none for 27 of 2. Couple of 6s and a 4 off that over. Tector on 41, Dockrell on 4. And you wonder, is there anything that the Munster Reds can do to stem this tide of Leinster Lightning runs? They need just 38 for victory with 9 overs to go. Ben White is going to continue from the far end. Dockrell on strike. Straight to mid-wicket, where Weldon just had a slight misfield but no run. And he's played on. A loose stroke from George Dockrell, bowled by Ben White. A 4th wicket goes down for the Lightning in the 12th over. Dockrell out for 4. A wicket for Ben White, and maybe a little bit of hope for the Reds.
Yeah, just dragged on George Dockrell. White gets his second. Not the best delivery he's bowled today. Tried to give himself a little bit of room. See the difference there with Tim Tector, what we've seen. Tim Tector's picked that length a little bit earlier than Dockrell has, and on that occasion, it's the undoing of Dockrell dragging on for 4.
Looks like the stride of Sam Harbinson coming in at number 6 for Leinster Lightning, joining Tim Tector. After Dockrell was bowled White for 4, Sam Harbinson has an average of 34 in this series. Harbinson, who plays with the Merrion Club, and about to face Ben White, who's got the breakthrough here for the Reds. And that one just tucked away past the dive of Weldon, just a single to get Harbinson off the mark and bring the dangerous Tim Tector back on strike with his 2 4s and 2 6s off his last 4 scoring shots. .41 of 23. He'll be hoping to get at least a half century today. Good ball from White, tucking up Tim Tector. No run. Just 37 runs to win now for Leinster Lightning. And that one played into acres of space. All the fielders in front of the wicket on the leg side, back on the boundary. .132 for 4, 36 required. White has 2 for 19. It's been a good effort from him, and that was a beautiful delivery, lifting and moving away from Sam Harbinson. The end of a very good over from Ben White. 2 for 19 for him in 3, 132 for 4 after 12. And it's commentary change time. John and Craig to take over.
Well, it's going very well for the Leinster Lightning. 132 for 4. 12 overs gone. 36 to win, as you see on your screen. Tector had the luxury of being able to play himself in while Riley Mudford went ahead and, well, assaulted the Munster Reds bowling. And Tector now coming to the fore. He's moved on to 42 from just 25 deliveries.
Yeah, it's a nice luxury to have in T20 cricket, isn't it? What's your partner at the other end? Riley Mudford. 3 4s, 6 6s in his 54. Lasted only 22 minutes. Extraordinary stuff. Munster got to keep fighting, though. Wickets do tend to push the run rates up. New men into bat, trying to get themselves set. They could do it, get rid of Tector now. So they get rid of Tector, they might sense that they have a chance or squeak. As it is, Leinster moving inexorably along to victory. 168 needed, 133 for 4 they are. Plenty of overs in hand. Still plenty of batting to come as well from a strong Leinster Lightning lineup, shorn of the likes of Balbirnie and Harry Tector. Mikey Frost to continue now. Just the concession of 1 run from his first 4 balls. That's good stuff from Frost. .35 to win. 44 balls remaining. Wickets in hand. 6. You would think they'd cruise to victory from this point of view. Well, Frost is bowling well here, though. Just the concession of the 1 run. It gets out of here now.
I can see how the game's complexion is. Leinster forcing a change in the field now.
Man's going down to Cow. Big LBW appeal from the bowler. Nobody else really, but that's a fine over. Just a concession of 1 run from Frost. 1 for 18 from his 3 overs so far. That's good stuff from Frost. 133 for 4 at the end of the 13th.
Well, that's super over for Frost and for Munster. But the important thing from a Leinster point of view was no wickets fell. And they really, well, one feels they could just canter along to the finish now. Less than a run a ball anyway. right to continue from the nursery end. Tector facing. He's on 43.
Man out, Simi Singh. Then Riley for that 54. Donnegan gone for 15. George Docker didn't last that long. Just the 4 runs. The Lightning captain. Good fielding down there. They're going to come back for the second, even though there's 2 fielders working in tandem. And 2 more to Tim Tector as he moves along towards his 50.
A lot of pressure taken off the Leinster side now. Just as Munster had 2 batsmen who made half centuries. It seems that that was what was needed in reply. And Riley Mudford, well, he reached his half century in just 20 deliveries. And we thought that the Munster batting had been quite quick.
Nice day here now. Clouds have lifted a little bit. Still a bit cloudy overhead, but it's nice and warm. And that's going to go for 4, surely. Yeah, the fielder down there can't cut that off. Wasn't best timing of the ball from Sam Harbison, but effective. And 140 for 4 now. 28 to win.
He managed to squeeze that one just past the fielder in the ring, and once it was past him, too much ground for the boundary rider to cover. And it's brought another change in the field. Matt Weldon going from the leg side onto the offside.
I put him in the backward point. Just in the arm of the fielder there, Tyrone Kane. Might have thought about a second, but there was a slip, so just the 1.
That's the second time we've seen a batsman slipping at that far end when a second may have been on. It happened once during the Munster innings. So it just goes to show how much moisture there still is here in Sydney Parade.
Tim Tector, 4 short of his 50. A little annoyed at himself, he didn't get that one away.
I think he had his gap picked out and everything there, but wasn't to be.
Well, that should do it. Nice little dab. That's a clever way of the bowling of Ben White to get to your 50. Tim Tector was a spectator while Riley Mudford was blasting the ball all over the ground for those 6 sixes and 3 fours, but he's just dabbed that nicely down 4-4 to take him to 50 on a score 154 for 4 at the end of the 14th over.
Well, as John said earlier, if you're in the area, it's worth coming down to see some good, clean hitting here. Another game starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The Northwest Warriors and the Northern Knights. But at the moment, we're here with Leinster and Munster. Munster would have been quite happy with the way they got off at the start of their innings. In fact, the end wasn't too bad when Frost was around as well.
Lee McCarthy bowling the 15th over now. Scampering through, Tim Tector gets the strike away from Harbison. McCarthy batted well for Munster, 18 runs in his 11 deliveries faced. Played a nice little anchor roll between himself and Ali Frost. Frost went on to make 61 not out as they reached 167, so 168 required for victory. 146 for 4 they are now, and well set. Tector's gone past, or on his 50 I should say. Down the leg side, well down the leg side. Good stop by the wicket keeper, but that's wide.
Actually beating the wicket-keeper, making the boundary, 5 more onto the total.
Yeah, look at this, that he'd actually caught that, but if you're right, that's 5. Despairing dive. He actually got his hand to it. That's what fooled me. All he could do was push it on. It's merry way to the boundary, so 5 more. And that'll go against McCarthy. And 150 up now.
Very high on the bat that time, just bunting it into the offside, giving hope to the fielders, but it died away. Well,
we're going to get an early lunch here.
It looks that way at the moment. Well, Textor's done a great job here for Leinster. He saw the, well, naked assault of Mudford on the Munster bowlers earlier. He's played himself in, and he got to his 50 off just 32 balls, so it's not like he was hanging around.
He's not hanging around now in their efforts to get to that 168. That's 4 more carved away behind square on the leg side for 4 more to add to his tally. Takes him well past the 50 now, and then scored a 155 with just 13 runs remaining now. It's a fine shot. Up on his toes. There's a little hill down there where the tents are, which houses the 2 squads, and he's done them again.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, he's right. It's a beautiful shot, isn't it? All the way along the ground. And 4 more.
Well, so far today, we've been treated with some great power hitting, but on this occasion, it was just touch. Saw where it was. Just one hand off the bat, and it runs away. Down to third, another boundary. That finishing line very, very close now.
Yeah, just 9 required. And a rare dot ball.
Well, sometimes one has to wonder who grows up wanting to be a bowler these days with T20 cricket.
Yeah, I was making that point early on. I mean, you're T20 cricket, this kind of level, you get a duff ball, you really celebrate. You're not hiding to nothing, really. And there you go. Rank long hop. And that's gone all the way. And now just 3 required. Another 6. And that early lunch is beckoning quickly. That's the end of that over. Very profitable one for Leinster.
Just so quickly onto that. He was looking to play offside, but saw the line of the ball very quickly and lifted it onto the roof of the clubhouse. As you say, well, just 3 runs required now.
Yeah, just the 3 required. You would think that it should get them in this over. $165 for 4.
McCarthy going for 47 off just his 3 overs. 19 off that 3rd over alone.
And Harbison is on strike. He's on 7. Down the track he goes. High in the air it is. And that's going into Mrs. Peabody's garden at the back. And that ends this, I was going to say a contest, but it was hardly a contest at all. They've hammered them. And the run rate will be very, very good from Leinster's point of view as well. That's a beautiful shot straight through the line of the ball. And that's victory for the Leinster Lightning in the blink of an eye. $171 for 4. They've reached it. Textor 64 not out. Harbison with the winning runs onto 13. Platform set by Riley Mudford with his 54. Just 22 minutes. So Leinster Lightning have won the opening game of the IP20 series. We're going to move it on to the Knights and the Warriors after this. But that was done in just double quick time. Winning by 6 wickets, Leinster Lightning. They look to retain their title this year, but they're in very good form. They're missing some of their big players. Harvey Tector's not here. Andy Balbirnie's also not here as well. So some of the new faces, Riley Mudford in particular, taking them downtown.
Well, the teams shake hands at the conclusion of that game. Well, the Leinster Lightning win by 6 wickets. But the important thing, really, was 29 balls remaining. The Munster Reds, well, they got off to an absolute flyer this morning. Murray Cummins, well, he was in form, that was for sure. And his 62 laid a fabulous base. And then Ali Frost played himself in, and although he only got 61, he took the same amount of balls as Cummins. Liam McCarthy coming at the end after a few quick wickets with 18 off just 11 balls, and that gave the Munster Reds a total of 167 that I think they would have taken before the game started, having been put in by George Dockrell at the toss.
The bowling figures, outstanding work for Simi Singh back after his injury problems, 4 for 18 from his 4 overs. The other wickets, Harbison, maybe under bowled. Just the 2 overs, 2 for 21. And it's the second innings then. Leinster Lightning.
Well, again, Simi Singh, he departed quite early, but that just brought Riley Mudford to the crease. And his 54 from just 22 balls. Well, that put Leinster ahead of the chase, and they never relinquished that position, even when Mudford finally fell, having reached his 50, including 6 sixes. Well, Tector had been there from the start, accumulating runs. He took on the mantle, and it just took him, well, 32 balls to reach his half-century, and he ended up on 64.
Here's the bowling figures. And everybody got a bit of a whack. White 2 for 31. Pick of the bowlers there. Manley, the other wicket to fall. Frost, 1 for 24 from 3.1 over. It's not a bad effort from him, but the likes of Egerton conceding 24 in just the 2 overs, when you consider that he only conceded 4 runs in his first over, and then he had to suffer that injury as well. So not a great day for the Munster Reds. And there's your match summary. Munster Lightning winning by 6 wickets. The Reds 167 for 6, 171 for 4 in reply. Tector 64, Mudford 54, the big scorers then. So Leinster win the opening match of this IP20 series here in Pembroke. We're going to have match 2 at 3 o'clock Irish time as the Knights take on the Warriors, and we will be back for that at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have the toss as well, and just before 3 o'clock we'll bring you full coverage of that game. But for the moment, from Sydney Parade and Sandymount, it's bye for now.